Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles, compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles, go take care of your business. Success Chronicles, it's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. So excited to have my guy, Coach Randy Bermea, on with us. A great guy doing some really good things. And so, first, Coach, thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Whenever you see an email from Chip Baker, you respond ASAP. I'll tell you that right now. So
Let's go.
Yes,
He coming in hot, baby. Let's
you
go.
got to respond ASAP. So make sure to get this set up ASAP, man. Thank you.
Let's
Thank you
get
for
it.
having me.
Yeah, for sure, man. Love what you do. Love what you're about. And, we talked off air about, promoting and highlighting other educators and other coaches. I've been in the profession a long time and coach, well, administrator, but man, it's always a blessing to be able to do that because it's such a tough task, right? And people that's not in it don't really understand all of the demands that it takes and the sacrifices and all of those things. And so, man, it's my pleasure to highlight educators because I think man, educators make the world go round for sure.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I come from a family of educators, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna die on that hill. My grandpa being one of the first Hispanics to graduate from his high school, but all the way in 1945
Wow.
to becoming a dean at a small junior college in South Texas, and then just continue. My mom and dad are educators. My dad's a coach. My sister's a head volleyball coach. My other sister's in administration. So we're all in that boat. So education makes our family go round for sure.
That's awesome, man. Good stuff. Well, I know you shared a little bit about your family just then, but if you don't mind kind of sharing a little bit about, who you are and what you do so the audience have an idea of who is Coach Bermea.
Yes, sir. So I'm from South Texas. I say South Texas because I'm from everywhere. I was born in Laredo, Texas. I grew up in Uvalde, Texas with my dad's family, my dad and my grandparents over there. And then moved back to Laredo for a short period of time, and then ended up most of my education years were in Harlingen, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley. And I'm graduated from Harlingen High School. Cardinal Spirit never dies. And I played football, ran track in high school, and then afterwards decided to stick to track. And I went to Cal Berkeley to go run track over there. In high school, I was a state champion in the hurdles. 300-meter hurdles in 2012.
Absolutely.
5A back then, but 6A would have been 6A now.
Yeah.
So went to state my junior and senior year. Had tremendous amount of memories and fun with our football team that we had. We made it to the fourth round that year, I guess the regional final. And that was an awesome experience playing high school football in Texas. As most people here know, there's nothing like it. Got to practice during Thanksgiving all my years in high school, so that's also a blessing that most people don't get to have. And then went to college, continued to run track over there. Like I said, I grew up with my grandparents in Uvalde, and during my junior year there, when I was at Cal, my grandma had gotten really sick, and her and I were really close. She suffered from Alzheimer's and dementia, and when she passed away, I made a decision to leave school, to withdraw, actually, talking to my coaches about how I'm going to help my grandpa out because they lived together and they got married in 1945 and, married for 70 years. And you worried about him, because he worked till he was 80 years old. So, worried about him and how he was going to handle everything. And we have a very strong family support system, but I felt something in my heart telling me that I can run track anywhere. It doesn't matter where I'm at, because track is one of the unique sports where no matter where you are, the time doesn't lie, no matter what team you run for.
Yep.
D1 is D1, and you race against the best any week. D2, race against D1. Plenty of D2 guys and D3 guys and girls can come out here and take it to any of these D1 guys any day of the week. So Made that decision without really a plan. I just knew I wasn't going to go back to Cal. Moved in with my grandpa during that time, and that was 2015. And I didn't really do much. I told myself I was going to stay in track shape, and I ran at one meet in Corpus, and I was like, yeah, it's not the same. I'm just going to shut it down this year. I was training on my own, so I was like, yeah, I got it. I'm still doing
Yeah,
the same
that's a
workouts,
little
and
different.
it is not the same. Stop. That's
Yeah,
why track you can't hide in track. You
yeah,
can't hide in
yeah,
track.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway, that happened, and then I had finally got my release because there wasn't a transfer portal back in that day, so you had to get released to talk to other schools. The coaches at Cal released me to UTSA. So talked to UTSA, and luckily the coaches that recruited me out of high school were still there, and they appreciated the way that I handled the recruiting process with them, even though I didn't end up going there, and decided to let me join them. So got on board there, UTSA, finished up there, and stayed a year afterwards to get my master's in business, mainly because I really didn't have an idea of what I was going to do.
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, the only thing I know is school right now and sports, and I don't think I'm going to get into coaching because everyone telling me to get into coaching. So obviously, I can't get into coaching, right? They're saying you're going to be exactly like your dad and your sister. And my dad, is a coach. He's on year 50 this year, 40 year this
Wow.
year. So
Yeah, it's in the
he's 40
blood.
years in. He's in my sister's a
Yeah,
head volleyball
yeah,
coach. She got her first
yeah.
head job at 24. So
Yeah, it's in the
it's in her.
blood.
They're like, you're gonna. I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna go. Because I was real smart, right? And I said, yeah, I'm gonna go make money, right? I'm gonna go get into sales, right? Because everyone wants to make money in sales because it's so easy.
Hey, hey, what you say? I was real smart, right?
I was real smart, right? Yeah, I knew everything. I had my master's degree, and I was like, this is gonna get me
Oh
where I want to
man.
go. Anyway, I bounced
A
around
few
the
years
produce
later in
industry.
coaching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I worked in the produce industry for a few years for a great family friend, and their company. And then I worked for a food sales company.
Hmm.
And then, it was actually my high school track coach. He was the assistant when I was in high school, and then he ended up becoming the head coach and back in Harlingen. He was still there. And he would always kind of tease me in our little group chat that we had. Hey man, we need a hurdle coach whenever you're ready to come. Because I was doing private lessons in San Antonio at the time. So I grew my little private business that I was doing to like 14 or 15 kids a week. So he was like, dude, come on. We got a spot for you. It's way more secure because I found myself like rushing home, trying to get to work as late as I could. And that's not me. That's not
Right.
why we spend so much time in sports. It's not to build those habits. And I caught myself in that, in the rat race, and just decided, that I'm just going to go, all in. And thankfully it worked out with the football situation too. My high school football coach was still coaching there at the time. And so he brought me back, and Harlingen's a beautiful community where, everyone coaches there. That we had like 14 of us that were on staff at one point, all graduated from there.
How
So
cool is
it's
that?
a big school with a small town feel. Awesome community. And then my head coach, Coach Gomez, and then my head track coach, Coach Ambrice, they worked it out, and I moved from San Antonio back down to the Valley for the first time since I graduated high school. So almost 10 years later, I moved back because my family doesn't live there anymore.
Mm.
So moved back there by myself to get it going. And then, since then, it's just been, I really think I followed my heart that time. And since then, it's been nothing but, door opportunity coming up. Here comes a little bit of adversity, but make the right moves when you're in adversity, and then another opportunity is going to come up.
Hmm.
Um, and then my life changed for the better, man. Like getting into coaching, you realize the influence that you have. I was around some really great coaches. I'm going to single him out, Coach Mike Aguilar. He was our strength coach when I was there, and now he's a DC there in Arlington. And the biggest transformation he made in my life is my relationship with God and Jesus Christ. And it's funny, not to make this my testimony or anything, but he just brought it up one day, like, hey, we'd go have lunch and we talk about strength conditioning and football. And one day it was just like, you ever listen to worship music? Because I'd always drive. And then there was always some rap music or country music. You ever listen to worship? And I was like,
No.
not really my thing. But the way he did it was awesome. He was like, "Oh man, maybe you should," and then just left me alone instead of telling me like, "Hey, go listen to this, and this." Right. So on my own, I was able to like, okay, let me hear this song. Let me hear this song.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hear that. And then once I did that, my coaching life just completely changed. And opportunity kept on coming up after opportunity. I was able to be a part of the Rock Mentorship Program thanks to my athletic director there in Harlingen, Coach Rob Davies. He, really opened the door for me to go up there to Arlington. That's the first time I had come in contact with you and got to see what you're all about, and then just really open your eyes to what this profession has to offer aside from just the grind of what do you do during football season,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do during track season, and then you really get to meet other coaches that get shirts like this and give you
D.
bracelets
Drake.
like this that say
That's
"Be
it.
great." That's Coach O.
Shout out to Coach
Um,
O.
and then you just get to realize how big the community is, man. And then now looking back on my life, like I needed to go out and think I knew everything first, right? Thought I had the world figured out. I needed to do that so I can be the coach that I am now. Had I gone into coaching
Mm-hmm.
at a younger age, I don't think I would have handled everything as well. I think it would have been a lot harder on me. I think I would have burned a lot of bridges early on. So I'm grateful for that time because it really just helped me find my passion, and then always having my family to talk about stuff with, like our conversations changed around the dinner table, hanging out, barbecuing, like it's different conversations. It's, hey, I had this scenario. How would you handle it? And then, I
Yeah.
get wisdom from, my
It's
dad
good.
coaching
Yeah.
and then my sister coaching, the female side of stuff, and then me coaching track. Like I get to coach boys and girls. So I get to hear, both sides
All
of
of it. Yep.
everything. I get to hear everything. And because my sister, she was a Division I volleyball player, also my older sister. And because of her, I've gravitated towards the game of volleyball. And turns out volleyball players make really good track athletes, right? So then you start going to a couple games, and then kids want to come out, and I learned that from her,
Yeah.
and then it's just been like I said, it's I'm super thankful, and like I said, once I really gave my life to Jesus again, and became reconnected with that and the church, and that really just set me off to like the potential that I have and the potential that this profession brings. And then now, 4 years later from that, or yeah, 4 years later, I'm here talking to the Chip Baker on the Success Chronicles. So
Well,
we
man,
wouldn't be here
hey,
without all that stuff, man.
since you went Jesus, I'm gonna go church on you and give you a
All right.
amen.
Amen. I remember a couple of those.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'll give you one of those. Well, man,
Hmm.
uh, what are three things that you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Oof, man. One of them, this is a little joke to my family, but if you were to tell my family, when we were all growing up and you look at all of our grades and everything, if you just said, hey, Randy is going to be the first one to get his master's degree, I think everyone would have taken the over. Like
Yeah,
someone else is
yeah.
going to get it before him. So the fact that I got it first, that's something, and a little jab but my sister ended up getting it. And my brother's a certified financial planner, and he took way more tests than I ever had to take. So
Hmm.
more credit to him. And both my sisters ended up getting theirs too. So being
So
able to
cool.
have it first is one thing for sure. Um, I think looking back, I think being a state champion in track, especially from where I'm from in the Valley, um, I think it was important. I think I didn't realize it at the time. I think I was more focused on the time I actually ran. And I look back on that moment and there's videos of the race and I see my time and I'm disappointed in myself and my time because it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But at the end of the day, the more I got to learn about track, and sometimes it's you on like that's it. That's the pinnacle, like 6A track and field in Texas, especially in the hurdles, the history we have is was a bigger deal than I expected it. And now looking back, I wish I would have been able to soak in the moment a little bit more.
Hmm.
Um, because I think that I think it gives a lot of hope and optimism to the community that I'm from. And it kind of shows like, hey, just because we're down here in the valley, don't forget about us down here, you
Yep,
know. And there
yep,
was a bunch
yep.
of track people around doing great things when I was running too. Leah Brown, she ended up running in Arkansas. She was like a 4 event, 5 event state qualifier and did the pentathlon, heptathlon at Arkansas, and she's into coaching now too. But um, I think that was one, and then the last one is more about, I think, my brother more than it is about me. But my brother was a sophomore when I was a senior in high school, and he was started for us he ended up starting for us that year on our football team. And being able to play with him, I think, is one of the greatest moments of my life. And looking back on it now, because I left to California, so I didn't get to really see him play his junior and senior year. But I got to see him, have some incredible moments as a young sophomore, and then continue to be a captain 2 years in a row and continue to do great things on and off the field. But that for me is when I think about high school football, I think about I got to play with my brother who was 2 years younger than me, and that really had an impact on my career for sure.
Man, that's awesome, man. So just hearing you talk about uh your journey, hearing you
Yeah,
discuss the things that you're proud of, well, I would consider that to be successful. So let's hit on success. What is your definition of success?
man, I struggle with this one because
Mm,
as I talk, I kind of end up tying in a few things. But I think one of
yeah.
them is not only being successful for yourself, because I think that's the easy thing to do,
Yep.
is
Yep.
go like in track, like I can go and win an individual state championship, right? But the success is, okay, can I bring more people with me? Can I
Yeah.
bring, a
Yeah.
teammate along? Can I
Yeah.
bring, and in the coaching world, it's like, okay, like maybe your small event group, like, okay, maybe my hurdlers or my sprinters are really successful, but like, how am I impacting the distance group or the throwers or maybe another coach, right? That's on my staff, or maybe a coach at a track meet that has never met me before, but is seeing the way I'm communicating with my athletes, or something along those lines, where you just bring people along. Like nothing that I do is mine, and that's what I think gets caught up in the coaching gig, is like, I do this and this is my secret. And, I don't really believe in that. I believe in, you can do the same thing and it looks 15 different ways. And this is what works for us because of our facilities, our kids, our practice times, the weather that we have. Like, this is what works for us. So now, if you get something from that and you go off and have yourself a state champion or a championship, or you get a promotion because of that, like, awesome. I'm not going to be there saying, man, that should have been me. I should be doing that, because that's not what this is about. That's not why we do this. Especially in our profession, where we're at the stage that we're at, it's like, what can I do for the kids, right? So
Hmm.
success is like, I had a coach that believed in me enough to like sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of headaches, because I was, Mr. 101 questions when it came to every workout we did. And because I just wanted to learn, it wasn't questioning him. It was more, I just need to learn. So someone did that for me. So I would be selfish and I wouldn't be doing what I'm here to do if I held some of that in. Like, I'm sharing it with I'm sharing it with people who will never coach hurdles or sprints
Yep.
ever in their life.
Yep.
They're gonna learn something one day. I'm hopping on a call later with one of my rock mentees, Coach Evans, and he's gonna be helping out with hurdles. So I was like, hey, I got you. Whatever you need, man,
Yep.
I'm gonna help you
Yep.
out, because
Yep.
that's what it is. It's growing your tree. It's making the profession better, creating a better reputation for the coaching community and what we have going on.
Yeah. I love it, man. It's bigger than me.
Yeah, 100%. It always will be.
Yep.
The
It's
minute,
bigger than
and
me.
that's when people get caught up and start making the wrong decisions, when it
Yeah.
becomes about me. And I've been blessed. I've been really blessed to be around like some like top tier, phenomenal coaches that really like, and that's why I couldn't do this at 22 or 23 right after college, because I wouldn't have had that like lens of getting kicked around by life first before I understand like, hey, you try to do it by yourself, because I wanted to make money for me, right? That's why I went into the business world, and that's why I did this for me. And I realized, hey, I'm here for a reason, and it's not about me. It's who
Yeah,
can you bring
man.
with you, you know?
I love it. I love it. Well, as we close, I want to give you opportunity to, share where the audience can go follow you and check you out and show you some love.
Yeah. I'm on Twitter or X. Sorry, I'm on X. Don Randy B, and on there I have a link tree. I have a bunch of hurdle presentations. And go out there and shoot me an email. Send me a DM on Twitter. Dang it, on X. Sorry, I still haven't got used to the X
Yeah,
thing yet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But find me on there, and I'm happy to help you however I can, whether it's connect you with another coach or anything like that. I'm here to help you guys.
Well, there it is again. I just want to say, man, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. Truly appreciate it, and I wish you continued success.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. And thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.